a primary election to replace a candidate who died during an election. So that does not automatically give the running mate, although there are certain election where there's no running mate, especially when you're talking about the legislative arm of government. Oluomo, are you ready to speak?
Yes, that's fine. Yes, indeed.
Okay, yes. So if I can come to Mr. Umar. Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Umar.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone.
It's Mr. Umar that is speaking now. Mr. Umar, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
I have actually been listening to all the conversations from the beginning, and it's really a fantastic one. And I think I have one or two things to contribute here. First and foremost, I think it's not a bad idea if I identify myself here as an INEC staff, actually. But I'm not speaking here as an INEC staff. I'm speaking here as a citizen. The reason why I identify myself is that maybe I have one or two experience or knowledge to add. Though Yemi has actually been doing well. He has actually been paraphrasing on the clauses we have been talking about. So one thing before I go into the clauses, the electoral amended bill, is I really want to call our citizens and all the participants in this platform to please, you people are really doing a very, very good job sensitizing citizens on the right thing to do, and especially collecting their PVC, those that have not registered to go and register. It's really, really a fantastic, and we are seeing a turnout actually. It's all result of your hard work. People are turning out for the PVC. But there is one challenge actually people are very, very unaware of. Some people have already registered before. Yes, it's one thing we have been noticing all this while registering people. So people have registered before, but once they come, instead of them to tell us they have registered, they maybe want to update their PDC, they want to change their voter date of birth, want to change their name, they have differences in name, maybe on their national ID card and voter card. So instead of them to go straight to the point and say this is what they really want, but they will just hide and lie that they have never registered before. So you see all this effort you people are making, and all effort we are making is sensitizing people to come for their and obtain their voter card, because it's really the key. Without the voter card, PVC, there's no way you vote. There is absolutely no way one can vote without PVC. But once you made the mistake of registering twice, once you have registered before from 2011 to date, if you have registered with INEC, your registration is in our database. And once you make a mistake of registering again, believe me, that is being considered as double registration. And at the end of the exercise, there is what we call data harmonization. And when all data are captured at the end of registration schedule, all data that have been captured from 2011, all citizens that have been captured in that INEC database will be harmonized. And fingerprint is the same. Your fingerprint is not the same with any other person worldwide. So the system will identify those that have registered twice. So you see, all those that are not coming out to say the truth, they will be identified as double registration. And whoever registered twice is an offense, number one, and punishable by law. And believe you me, none of the card will come out. That's why when we started distributing PVC, you will see a lot of people coming and their PVC is not out. Believe me, this is not the majority. So please, part of the effort, your sensitization effort, you should be telling people who ever registered before, if you have any issue or you lost your voter card, do not register again. Just tell us your voter card is lost. This is where you register. In fact, let me tell you the truth. This current administration of INEC is putting all mechanism, all effort in place to make sure that it delivers to Nigerians free, fair, and credible election. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I know all the effort the INEC is making. So that is why this INEC has introduced online registration. Online registration is in place for the first time in history. All the registration that have been going in the past is not online, but it's now online. Once you provide us with your previous information, just your name and your date of birth, the one you registered before, we will retrieve your information and will correct any information you want to correct. If you want to correct your date of birth, if you want to correct your name, if you want to rearrange your name, if you want to transfer your voter card, the simple thing you do is just tell us you have registered, because your information is with us. But failing to admit to us that you have registered and you claim you are registering as a new registrant, that is the basis of the problem. And believe me, such a person will not have his PVC printed, not at all. In fact, let me tell you, it's an offense punishable by law. So INEC will make some effort to trace such person. And if such person is able to be traced, it is going to face the wrath of the law. So please, this is very, very key. It's one of the challenges we are facing, honestly. Because believe me, with the current electoral bill signed into the law, with the current backing for electronic accreditation, and a lot of clauses you have been reading and the rest, believe me, Nigerians will have a very, very, very free and fair election. Anybody you see voted into the power comes 2053. Believe me, is being voted by the masses. Gone are the days when politicians can rig election. INEC staff, no matter how compromising it is, there's nothing he can do to favor a political party. Absolutely nothing. Even if INEC staff want to favor, let me tell you, INEC staff may only deceive you and collect your money, but in reality, there is nothing INEC staff can do. The system has checkmate every problem. There is no room for compromise. So long as a political party is strong enough to provide for party agents to any of the polling units, believe me, there is nothing that can be done to compromise the system. But the major challenge is let people make sure they are registering once. If you have registered, don't register twice. If you register twice, you don't have PVC. In on a shot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar, for that insight. And of course, double registration is actually a major problem. It's one of the things that we'll be speaking about. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar. It's one of the things we'll be speaking about, but I think we've not been speaking about it enough. And I totally agree on that, because some people just feel that, oh, the 2011 registration they did, it's no longer registration. We keep saying to people, no, it is. All you can do, you can go and get whatever it is, retrieve, change whatever you want to change, whether it's transfer of your PVC, and these things can be done also online the way if someone who is registering for the first time. So thank you so much for that. The next person is Cosmios. I hope I pronounce that. Decent Black Man. You have the mic, please. I'm still going to come to you, Oluomo, after Decent Black Man. Yeah, Decent Black Man. Hello, at Decent Black Man. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to come back to Oluomo now. Hello?
Yeah,
Oluomo, you have the mic.
Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Aisha. Good afternoon, everybody. And just congratulations to all of us on this platform regarding the...
Hello, Oluomo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sister.
We can hear you clearly, ma.
Yeah. So, just want to say thank you to everybody. Congratulations to all of us on the...
It's Oluomo speaking.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Oluomo is actually speaking. Madam Aisha, I think it's from your end. Oluomo is speaking.
Oh, okay, then it's from my end. I probably will go off and come back. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Maya. So, yeah, congratulations to all of us on the signing of the bill. I'm really excited about it. So, I just have a few questions to ask Auntie Yemi about the bill itself, because the deadline was meant to be on the 22nd of February, but President signed the bill on the 25th of February. So, which is it can be a bit, sort of, you're not too sure exactly. So, Auntie Yemi knows a lot better, and I'm just excited because we've been on this platform of our citizen space when we started a couple of weeks ago. We got the PVCs and stuff, trying to push Nigerians out there. And I'm glad that we can all see now that it's very vital for us as Nigerians to come out and get our PVC. It's very important because to the best of my knowledge, INEC, I think about 84.5 million Nigerians were registered PVC voters in 2019 presidential election. And unfortunately, I mean, we had about 15.2 people that voted for President Buhari, about 11.3 people voted for, what's it called, Mr. Atiku. So that means that, and then obviously, other people voted for other parties as well. So meaning that, I mean, we had about. So, Madam Aisha, sorry, can you just mute your mic, man? Yeah, thank you, man. So that means that we had about 55 million previous electors voters who did not vote in 2019. And I think we all need to come out now in 2023 if we want good governance in our society. We've all been complaining about the poor healthcare system. You could see the ASU strike, mean that our education sectors in total shambles. Everything has gone wrong. So for us to elect the right leaders, we need to come out in millions, to pick the right people and stuff. So I mean, with the new electoral bill that we signed, that means our country will be better off going into the next election with the new electoral law, which, I mean, enhance the integrity of the preparations and conduct of our election. The bill also will, also electronic transmission of results will also strengthen INEC's financial independence and empowers the commission to reject falsified election results, which I think is absolutely amazing and it's good news. And actually, the way forward was in Nigeria. In 2022, the whole world is moving forward, and we have to be in the direction as well whether we're moving forward. And also, this is good for our democracy. I think that's the most important factor there, that our democracy has to get better. When you look at our democracy in 2015, what INEC did, I think INEC did very well in 2015. But my friend, in 2019, I felt there was a bit of a setback. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, come 2023, we're going to move forward from the new electoral bill. So, Auntie, I'm going to ask you, man, please. Would the new bill, I think the election is going to hold, the president election should be on the 18th of February 2023. Is this still going to hold on that date? Or because of the president signing the electoral bill within 3 days different from the deadline, is it going to change? That's the first question, man. And the second question I'd like to ask is, would the new law be part of the Osun and it's the governorship election coming up soon? Would that new law be part of it, or Annex is going to use the old law to hold those 2 elections? Thank you, man. Auntie Emi, can you hear me, man? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, sure, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Auntie Emi, I had questions for you, man. Thank you.
Okay. I heard your second one. Sorry, I tuned that a bit earlier. The second one is Ekiti. The second one is your question about Ekiti. Yes, that's the new law of the land. So Ekiti has to be. Unfortunately, they're part of it that's already happened. That probably is not in line with this new law, but as of today or yesterday, that's the new law of the land. And what was your first question?
So the first question is that the presidential election is meant to hold in February.
Yemi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I just couldn't hear Oluomo. I had to go to my personal handle to be able to hear him from there. The first one, he asked the question of change of date of election. So before even Yemi, before you answer that question, when is the commencement date? There's a signing, but when is the law supposed to come into effect? Is it immediately or when? I know there's usually a particular date.
No, in effect, the president has signed it. Has come into effect. What people tend to talk about is the gazetted version, which is like the official one that they fight, whatever. But I think, as Samson, who's the lawyer, said that president has established basically that the day the president signed it is the day that it goes into law. And that's further supported by the fact that INEC is actually going to address the press today at 3 p.m. and they will unveil the timetable and schedule of activities for 2023. So that means that INEC has taken yesterday's signing as law, and they would now use that to announce the timetable for the 2023 election. So that's going to happen at 3 p.m. today. So I'm sure it will be on most media platforms. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay, that was part of Oluomo's question. His first question, yes, is the date going to be affected? And I think it's just for me to add, is to say that, well, we can bear any change of date, even if it's 2 days, 3 days, even if it's by a week, at least we have a law. We have this bill being signed into law, which is the most important. We must always, focus on the big picture. Let's be pragmatic. It didn't go out the way we would have wanted it to go. And if we're going to change the date, at the end of the day, we have a law that will enable free and fair and credible election going forward. And he did ask the question of Ekiti and Osun. I think we've answered that. Ekiti and Osun, whether it's going to be effective immediately. I don't know what happened. I couldn't hear Oduomo. But over to you, Titi. I think so that because I didn't hear that part, so I don't think I'll be a very effective host for now. So go on and pick who are the next speakers that we have.
All right, thank you very much, man.
Titi,
Mr.
Titi,
Samuel,
can you just give 1 minute?
are you there?
I just want to ask
Okay.
a quick question.
Please, 2 minutes to round up.
Titi, just open the
Thank
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Auntie, I'd just like to ask you a random question. I mean, I'm just glad and have an opportunity. So in 2020, I mean, Nigerians in diaspora sent over 25.
Okay, is there someone who is talking that I can't hear again?
Again, no, you can't hear Aisha. Yes, Oluomo is speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to my personal handle. Okay,
thank you. So my question is that, Auntie Emi, obviously I'm glad we lost in time, but I think something's always come in my mind. So for example, in 2020, I mean, from the CBN, this Nigerians in diaspora remitted over $25 billion home in 2020. Now, my dilemma is that when you look at, I have friends from South Africa, for example, the South African citizens can vote from diaspora.
Oluomo, sorry, my attention span is not very good. Just ask the question. What is your question?
Okay, yeah. So basically, my question is that, do you think in a long time Nigerians in diaspora can also vote in diaspora?
Certainly.
Because as I'm talking to you right now,
there's a lot of advocacy around that. Unfortunately, it won't happen in 2023. But we shouldn't wait till elections are tomorrow. I think even now we should begin to work on it, so that after 2023 it can be added to our laws to allow people in the diaspora to vote.
Absolutely. Because do you think we possibly 2027?
Yeah. Hello.
If Nigerians do nothing, it won't be possible. That's the truth of the matter. So I can't speak to that. If Nigerians choose that, the people in the diaspora choose not to do anything about it, it's not magic. To get this law passed, that was passed on Friday, it took a lot of work, a lot of money was spent, a lot of efforts were made. The president rejected it 5 times, and then we finally have a law. So if everybody just chats about it and say, it'll be so nice for diaspora to vote, it'll be so nice, nothing will happen. 2027 will come and go. You'll still be chatting about it. So yeah.
So what would you suggest?
So the most important thing, it's for Nigerians in diaspora and also Nigerians in Nigeria to ensure that we are able to have Nigerians in diaspora vote. Like Yemi said, we start working for it, it won't be a reality. And so there is an economic power that the Nigerians in diaspora have, and they need to use it now for them to get the political power that they are deserving of. If the CBN is trying to woo Nigerians in diaspora to send more money home, then you should be using that as a bargaining chip for you to ensure that you're also part of the electoral process. Before we go on, so that we quickly round up on the...
Sorry, Aisha, sorry.
Yeah.
Before you go on,
go ahead.
I think you asked the question, what can people do? I think it's extremely critical because it is a law. So to pass a law, you need people with sense and understand it. So make it an election issue. Make it a campaign issue. So anybody that's running for House of Representatives or Senate that's representing you, or if you're in the diaspora that's representing your family members, put it on the table. That we want our family members in the diaspora to be able to vote. What is your stance on it? And record it and let it be on record. So when they come into office next year and we start the advocacy and we say we want to amend the Electoral Act so people diaspora voting can happen, you will tell Senator Lagbaja, but you promised when you are campaigning, Oga, this is the time to pay off. And so we need to, and I say this, and this is not just about elections, for anything really, for those who want to leave Nigeria, to those who want its education to be free from primary 1 to master's degree, anything that you want, it's a law. And the people who make the law are people we elect in. So hold them accountable and make these serious issues, campaign issues, not the frivolous things that we talk about. Sorry, Aisha, go ahead.
Thank you very much. And I think that was a very important statement to make. We need to make these things election issue and campaign issue. Campaign issue, we should not major in the minor. We should focus in the major things that we had and hold the politicians accountable that are coming in, and let's know what's their stance on it. And if they get there, they do not do it, we'll be able to know how to properly hold them accountable. So what I'm going to do, because we are approaching the end of today's Citizen Spaces, is to quickly give the 3 other, amongst the 10 key provisions, the remaining 3 key provisions in the new Electoral Act, and then we take that all together, and we have the speakers that we have right now to put in their take on that. We have the eighth one, we have clause 50, which gives INEC the legal backing for electronic transmission of election results. And I think we've spoken about that. The last time we had Mr. Umar speak about that, that's what he was talking about. That right now, when we talk about INEC officials, being compromised and all of that, it won't be as much as it used to be before, where there would be connivance between some INEC officials and politicians to rig the election by rigging the results. Now we have electronic transmission of results. There's a legal backing to it, and if INEC does, they can do that, and which will reduce the corruption. We have number 9, we have clause 94, which allows for early commencement of the campaign session. By this provision, the campaign season will now start 150 days to the election day and end 24 hours before the election. And then the 10th and the last one we have there is the clause 84, which stipulates that anyone, and this is very, very key here now, and that's the clause 84 that I think the president say that the National Assembly should look at amending that. It's very important. Clause 84 stipulates that anyone holding a political office, that's a political appointee, not elected office holders. Anyone holding a political office, ministers, commissioners, special advisors, and others must relinquish the position before they can be eligible to participate in the electoral process, either as a candidate or as a delegate. And I think I will start off now. Oh, okay, Titi, I'm going to come back to you because I went off a little bit, so I don't know who had spoken and who had not. So please help me know who are those that will have in the. Hello, Titi, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you, ma.
Okay, so let's have that. But in the first place, let's have Yemi give us an overview of this these last 3 key provisions that we have, and then you take over and give us the list of speakers as we should have said. Yemi, go ahead, please.
Okay, I heard about electronic transmission. What were the other 2 you mentioned? I'm sorry.
The other one is the early commencement of campaign, and then the one the clause 84, that's clause 94, and then the clause 84 that stipulates that anyone holding a political office must relinquish the position before they can be eligible to participate in the electoral process. Yeah.
My favorite one. Okay, so electronic transmission of results, it's just a reminder, it's what we all shouted about when National Assembly tried to remove it. It just means that as they are doing a manual recording of the results, they are also able to transmit at the same time electronically to INEC's backend, to INEC's office. So even though you write it manually, so that between ward and local government, if anybody decides they want to do anything funny with altering what was written by hand, it has already been transmitted electronically from the polling units. So that if anything then happens and 2 plus 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 6 and equals 222 instead, INEC is able to provide that as backup. So that's that about electronic transmission of results. Early campaign, yeah, I guess, really before it was 90 days, now they've extended, so 90 days is about 3 months. It's now been extended to 5 months, just to give us a bit more time to engage the people who want to lead. It's, on the politician side, it comes about a bit more expensive because that's 5 more months of people coming to your house to eat. But that's for them to figure out. And then clause 84, which is my absolute favorite. So clause 84 talks about direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus candidates. And that was the initial clause that was only direct primaries. And the president said no, he wants people to have a choice. So now it has direct, indirect, and consensus. But the part that the National Assembly smuggled in was a clause that basically says if you're a political appointee, you must have resigned before primaries of your party. So let me give you an example. So everybody knows that let me not personalize it so people don't hate me. So let's say Minister Lagbaja wants to become governor of his state. Minister Lagbaja, under the current law, can be minister until 30 days before election. So, i.e., he can be governor until 30 days before, let's say the elections are in March, before March next year. 30 days. He can be minister until February next year, literally. So, plus the primaries, plus the campaign, he will do all of that as Minister of the Federal Republic, which means he has access to security, to cars, money, goodwill. He can use his influence as a minister to get people to give him money or to get preferential treatment. So it's not an even playing field with any of the other candidates or even people in his party who are running primaries, who are not government officials. They don't have access to the same kind of support, quote unquote. Or the way political parties work is that political appointees are automatic delegates if you're doing indirect primaries. So what some governors have done in the past, they will just appoint 500 political appointees, SA social media, Twitter, SA social media, Facebook, SA social media, Instagram, SA social media, TikTok. Like that, you just give it 5 people, 5. But if in your party political appointees are automatic delegates, then when it's time for primaries, all your political appointees become delegates and you can then influence how they vote in the primaries. So what the law was aiming to do, I mean, for the National Assembly members, they think the governors use that power very badly. So they were hoping to curb that, but also more broadly curb uneven access because you are in office and you're able to use the perks of your office to run. So that's what they smuggled in. I am personally a huge fan of that clause. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But the president is making a case that because what the constitution says is that you must resign 30 days to, then that this clause violates the constitution. Because because you cannot run basically. Because the clause says you cannot vote or be voted for. So if you're in a primary and you cannot be voted for, that means you can't run. So that's the issue. I mean, there are a bunch of legal arguments for and against. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to get into that. But that just explains what the issues are. I hope that's clear.
Absolutely, that's clear. Thank you so much, Yemi, for that. Titi, you have the power.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me the power. Mr. Leke, is going to speak then. After Mr. Leke, Folari, and then Mr. Toye Sobande, then Save Nigeria campaign. For now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This is Leke Akibode. Can you all hear me?
Very well. Please proceed. Thank you.
All right. So I just want to build on something that Mr. Oluomo said earlier. In 2019, I flew to Nigeria to vote to vote in presidential election, and I flew from United States. And there was a friend of mine here who I encouraged that we should all go to Nigeria together to vote because we are PVC. I remember I bought tickets for 2 people, and we are all from Ondo State. So we landed in Lagos. Then from Lagos, we took another flight to Akure, and our town is about 2 hours away from Akure. So we have a car ready to take us from Akure to our town to vote on the morning of election. So we went to bed around 1 a.m. on Friday before election. 1 a.m. on Saturday. And by the time we woke up 7 a.m., dressing up to take a road transportation to our town, all of a sudden we heard that the election has been postponed. And we came all the way from the United States. So we left Nigeria in very, very upset. So why am I saying this? I think I want to encourage people here, Miss Yemi and other people in other agencies to start advocating for diaspora voting, because this trip in 2019 cost me above 2 million naira. And just because I love my country, just because I wanted to be part of the process. So, and this could have been avoided if we have a diaspora voting system. Another thing that I want to say, I want to sell this idea for every agency on this platform. I'm not going to claim a copyright, I want this idea to be in 2027 program. Can we be having a territorial election in Nigeria? I will take 1 minute to explain. I was discussing with Titi of Faith before the debate started. See, if we are having a presidential election, the the president's territory is the whole country. Then I should be able to vote for the president from anywhere in Nigeria. And Mr. Wilma was giving a statistic that we have maybe over 50 million people that have PVC that will not vote because it is no longer safe now for me to leave Lagos and travel down like 5 hours drive to State to vote for president when the roads are not good and security is not there are no security on the road for me to travel. Well, if you open an account in Lagos, you can access the account anywhere in Nigeria, within the territory of Nigeria. So if we're having a presidential election, the territory of the president is the whole country, then we should be able to vote for the president anywhere you are in Nigeria. Then if we're having a governorship election, then you should be able to vote for the governor anywhere within the state. So if I'm living in maybe I'm living in I don't know I'm living in Ibadan and I want to vote and I register in Shaki or your town or Gumosho, I don't have to go to Oyo Shaki to vote for governor of your state. I should be able to vote anywhere in Ibadan. And if I want to vote for my senator, I should be able to vote anywhere within the territory of the senatorial district. So I think that will increase voting participation because you have people who are struggling to eat 3 meals a day to now travel from Lagos to Maiduguri to Abia to
Sorry,
Enugu.
Leke, sorry to interrupt you. Where do you say you live?
I live in United States.
Okay, is that possible in the United States? What you just described?
It is possible, but in another form. It is possible through absentee. Like when I
Exactly.
voted,
Yeah, and I know,
yeah,
I know. That's what I'm pushing. So number
yeah,
one, what you just described is not. I mean, there's nothing that Nigeria is doing that's peculiar to Nigeria. I just don't want us to manage time, so I understand where you're going. There's nothing
yeah,
Nigeria that's doing that's peculiar to Nigeria. If I move from New York State to California, I have to move my registration with me to vote, regardless of if I'm voting for the president of the country. One. But what you've described is that the way that can happen if I don't want to move my registration is I do the absentee ballot, and that's via mail. Is that not correct?
yeah, yeah. But Nigeria can
But
take a lead for the first time in this
no,
regard.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that it is a process, and within a country, and I'm comparing it to the US because they're sort of the standard for democracy processes and all of that. So within a country that has a lot of challenges, while that's a good look towards to get to that point, you're talking about a country, for example, that doesn't have a census. So we don't know how many people are in Nigeria. We don't know where people are. We don't know where they live. So I just want us to be, while we aspire for better and hope for better processes, that we also are very practical within what we have and don't give ourselves an unnecessary burden of what we would like to see. So the same way as we were talking about diaspora voting, the same way for this. We need to have a census, for example. We need to have a postal system that works for absentee voting to work. One of the major milestones that INEC has reported with this is right now I don't need to be, because I can register online. I don't have, before what used to happen is that I need to go and register where I'm going. That now doesn't need to happen. I can register literally wherever, but I'll tell, because I'm choosing online, I can choose where I can sit in Abuja and say I'm going to register to go to Lagos. And you don't have to go to Lagos. Before, you had to go to Lagos to register to vote. So we're making progress, but given Nigeria's context and our growth with democracy and failure of infrastructure, let's just be manage our expectations is basically what I was trying to say.
yeah. That's
Thank you.
that. That's
Uh,
me. I agree
yeah.
with you. I know
Thank
we're
you very much.
making. I
Mr.
know we're
Leke, thank
making.
you very much. Please, can you round up?
Okay,
And
let me
because
just
we
round
do not
off.
have,
Yeah,
yeah,
Miss
sorry.
Yemi, I understand it and I appreciate that. I know we this is we it is little by little we'll be getting there. But just to add my thought, we don't actually need sense for what I described. All we need is PVC. INEC knows, they know how many people that have PVC in the entire
Sorry to
country.
interrupt you, but you're missing the point. My point was just talking about the country and infrastructure. So
Oh,
census
yes,
was an example of that. Census
yes,
just means a country that has a database, knows its citizens, can account for its citizens, knows where they are. If they move, send a mail, knows. I can track you with your social security. I can track you anywhere in the US. Doesn't matter if you're in Nebraska or California. That's the
exactly.
country.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I just want us to, put that into consideration. And the issue about the diaspora voting is very, very important to
All right.
some of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Leke. Yeah, so this is it. Time is fast spent. So for everyone, any other person that is coming in, let's try to make our point in 2 to 3 minutes. And of course, you can also tweet and use the hashtag Citizen Spaces to make your opinion known. Mr. Toye, I think you're next. Thank you. 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What I wanted to actually, now that everybody has been commending the president and commending every one of us who've been working hard at ensuring that we speak up and get the bill signed. Now that we have done that, I think we need to begin to think ahead. And one critical area that I wanted to actually address, Yemi touched on it briefly as he was responding to the gentleman earlier, is the fact that the politicians don't need to just manipulate the elections alone or rig elections to get themselves into power. They are quite sophisticated at rigging the system in such a way that no matter the bill we put into place, the implementation becomes very frustrating. One area that I'm actually trying to consider ahead and look into, and so we begin to have conversations around it, is actually having an accurate, a very accurate data system about Nigerians, where they are, what they do, who they are, and of course, efforts over the years from NIN to BVN has been around that. With that kind of database, it makes INEC's job very easy. So what I'm trying to suggest is we don't have a credible census. We've never had a credible census. It's always been very political. There's always been issues around it. Now that we have the bill signed, one critical area that I think we need to begin to shout and pressure government about is having a proper database system for Nigerians. Investing in it heavily. We have a lot of tech guys, we have a lot of brilliant minds in Nigeria who can facilitate that. We have people who can actually come up with the processes for us to actually go down to the grassroots, identify the database. For example, it's shocking when I realized that in my community, people, we have the estate association. Then some people came up and said we must be part of the LCDA. And people are wondering why. The database of those of us in the estate association was taken to the LCDA such that our names, our information, our personal data is captured as being members of the LCDA that has strong political affiliation to a political party. And such some of our names and our details were used as delegates for their primary election or their internal election. It was unknown to us for a very long time. This issue was about 4 or 5 years ago. It was unknown to us for a very long time until we found out. So some of the political parties are so sophisticated in the way they gather their data. And Yemi rightly mentioned one of it when he was talking about how the governors use
Mr. Toye, thank you. We have 30 minutes already. Thank you very much.
Okay,
You can continue to give your thoughts. You can tweet at us. You can use the hashtag.
Thank you
very much. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So, the Save Nigeria campaign, please, you have 2 minutes. I know you've spoken before. Are you there, sir?
2 minutes. Okay, I'm here.
All right. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you so much. So a lot of things has already been touched, especially by Auntie Yemi. Thank you so much for the expositions. So what I want to talk about is actually a reaction to what Mr. Umar said earlier, I don't know if he's still on the space. The INEC official that talks about the issue of double registration.
Hello, the Save Nigeria campaign. Let me just make it like he wasn't speaking as an INEC official. He spoke in his personal capacity, but he just identified himself as someone who works at INEC.
Okay, true.
Thank you.
Thank you for correcting that, man. So the issue of double registration. So I think it's a two-way thing. The truth is that I personally commend INEC for the job they are doing. They've been doing since this, online registration started. I've been really impressed with it. On Saturday last week, we as an organization held a PVC registration drive in Alimosho for Alimosho residents to be able to get registered. And it was a huge success. So we wrote to INEC and they sent some of their officials to join us in the exercise. So during the exercise, before then, my PVC got missing. So I went online to put in for replacement. But somehow my data were not found somehow. So I had to go to the office that is close to me, and I told them, so they were able to help me resolve it. So it was in that process I was really able to understand that issue of double registration. So a lot of citizens do not actually have that understanding. So I think, like I said, we need to do more education around that. And then secondly, I will not completely blame the people, because in interacting with a lot of people that we try to help register. So what we did that day is that when we ask you, first of all, have you registered before? So if you have not registered before, we register you. But if you have registered before and you have issues, we just send you to the INEC officials and they are able to help you treat that. So in interacting with these people, we realize that most of them are people that fall into the category of either people that are registered before, but one way or the other, just like it was earlier mentioned on this space, they go to where they're supposed to have their card, and then because of one thing or the other, they are not, being able to have their card, one excuse or another. So we had a lot of cases like that. So
Thank you
because
very
of that,
much. Save Nigeria campaign. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I have to cut you there. Sorry. This is to enable more persons to also, give their contributions. Thank you very much for all that you do for Nigeria. So Oluyinka Oyeniti, please, you have 3 minutes. Please proceed. After Oluyinka, I'll take on Mr. Olusegun. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm going to use just 1 minute. And I'm going to talk about what next after this bill has been signed into law. I'm particular about diaspora voting, and I don't mean to rehash what has already been said. I just want to look at the matters arising. Number one, do we have the logistics to ensure that we can vote from the diaspora? Yes, we do. How? We are issued passports in our respective embassies. We have BVN, we have NIN, so we can be identified. Are government agencies ready? Well, they've made official statements. The Nigerian Communications Commission says that we have infrastructure to ensure that we can even vote electronically. So we can vote from the diaspora. Do we have a right to vote from the diaspora? Yes, because the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act, even before it was amended, says all you have to do is to be a citizen of Nigeria. You have to be 18 and you have to be registered to vote. So registration to vote now is done online. So there is nothing stopping us from voting from the diaspora. What don't we have? The political will. The Constitution does not state that you must be in Nigeria to be able to vote from Nigeria. And so let's remove all of this. Why do we need those in diaspora to vote, apart from the fact that it's from their fundamental human rights? It's because those in the diaspora possibly would have they are not under any cohesion. You don't expect that their votes be bought because they live better. And it's their fundamental human rights, constitutional, that they can vote. So we rely on votes from those people who are not being coerced, they are not internally displaced, to be able to challenge what is going on. Do we have to look to other countries to benchmark ourselves? No, because we need those who are enlightened and who are not all, they are not poor, they are not pecuniary. We need those kind of people. to the elite class to be able to have a say in government. And so it is apathy for them, for people as this, who also contribute to the economy, to be left out of the voting process. So there's nothing in the law that says they can't vote. We are already putting together this lawsuit. A senior advocate also even attributed to this same fact that we need to take that to court. And as soon as we have signed copies of this Electoral Act has been signed, we are simply asking the court to interpret the relevant provisions of the Electoral Act. Does it preclude those in the diaspora? It's a fundamental human right. It's not something to file a writ of summons about. Could you please interpret the provisions of that law? And then we'll file the suit and let the court decide, and we take it from there. If Nigeria is going to be better, even if it's going to take 50 years, these are ingredients that we must start drumming on now, the same way EIE, the rest of them, Aisha Yusuf, are pushed for this to be signed. So it's not impossible, and we may need to start now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping to time. Thank you. Mr. Olusegun, please proceed, after which we can review the other parts of the signed bill. Thank you. Mr. Olusegun, are you there? Okay, Kingsley, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Please proceed. 3 minutes, please. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Okay, my major area of concern is on this issue of appointees who want to contest elections should resign. I totally support that, because in most cases, election is still 2 years ahead. You see, the appointees, because of their interest to contest, they begin to neglect their primary duty, the primary assignment they have been assigned to do, and you see them politicking at the detriment of their offices. So to me, anybody who wants to contest as an appointee of a particular government should resign even before the primary election. Secondly, another area which is still not clear to me has to do with, I think that should be the clause 7 or so, that says that those, if a candidate dies during the election, that INEC should give the political party the opportunity to conduct another primary election. Now, the question is, what if the person dies on that particular day of the election before the result is announced, like that of Kogi? Now, INEC giving the political party the opportunity to conduct another primary election, it means INEC will now have to reconduct the entire election. So how do we look at that in relation to other political parties and the contestants in that same election? If Party A's candidate dies on the day of election, just when the election is about to be concluded, now how do we handle the grievances of Party B, Party C, Party D, and also what of the economic impact on INEC? How do they go about remobilizing Nigerians again to start all over? For how long? A month or two? We should be clear on this, and I really would want anybody who has more knowledge on that to clarify us on that issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Comrade Aisha Yusuf, please can I hand over the room to you?
Thank you so much, Titi. Thank you for the amazing job you do always, co-hosting and in everything. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We have members of the Four Citizens Alliance who are here. Thank you also. Yemi is also a member. Oluomo is a member. We saw Adam Ismail earlier on. Please, if you would like to be a member or volunteer, we need everybody. This is about citizens working together, citizens working for citizens. Just go to fourcitizensalliance.com and actually sign up. It's about, we keep our individual identity, we keep our organizational identity. We've just focused on the shared goals that we have. For now, we are talking about the PVC registration and collection. 145 PVC is ongoing. 145 PVC simply means register, or if you already have the PVC, then get 5 other people to register. Help those 5 people also get 5 people to register. Then be part of PVC organize or be part of PVC registration drive in your community. Your community can be within your family, within your estate, your church, your mosque, your market, your workplace, around you, and anywhere. Get people to register. And finally, we actually vote with ourselves. It's been an amazing conversation we've had. There were some few things that were said. YTT was handling the speakers that we have that I just want to quickly make reference to. There was one particular one. I think who was it from the States who was talking about the fact that people who should not be forced to travel all the way thousands of kilometers for them to be able to vote. But really, people don't need to travel thousands of kilometers to go and vote. These are some of the sentiments that we've had that really it's not giving us the capacity for us to make demands and ask for good governance the way we want to. Let me take myself, for example. I'm from Edo State. My parents are from Edo. So I was born and brought up in Kano. I live in Abuja currently. And you see when people are talking, they're like, oh, your senator this, you should talk about what's happening in your state. What's my business with what's happening in my state of origin? If not for the Nigerian system, I wouldn't even be claiming Edo State as I only go there once in a while after my parents moved there in the last decade or so to go visit and come back. That's not where I am. Abuja is what concerns me. Abuja is where I vote. The senator in Abuja, that's my senator, not the one from my village. And so this sentiment where we think we have to go to our own village, meanwhile, where we are living, where our businesses are, where everything is, that's what really concerns us. But most times we think that that's not because we are not from there, this state of origin kind of mentality, we have to travel all the way there. So you can't be asking either to come and take away people, the sentiments. Beyond, what Yemi had said earlier, to say we don't even have the infrastructure to be able to do all of this. We can't be supporting people's sentiment when this is where you are. Your governor should be where you are residing. That's what should concern you, not the governor of the village, the state that you came to, or all of that. Please, we've closed. Maybe the next conversation, next Saturday, inshallah, we'll be able to have another one. We'll continue so that we don't take it on. So we need to look at where are we from? What are we doing? Where are we staying? That's very important. And some of the things that we as citizens should also start looking at. I don't need to travel to Edo State to go and vote. And for me personally, and speaking as Aisha, not as FCA, for me personally, I would say if I'm going to run for election, I'm not going to go to Edo State. I don't have business with Edo State. I'm going to run for election Abuja, where I'm residing, or wherever in Nigeria that I'll be at the time that I need to. That I'll decide to, maybe if I want to run or something. We need to begin to think along that line. And then the other one of the diaspora vote, the speaker that spoke, and what I have just written, I had written earlier was to say, go to court, let the Supreme Court interpret the law. And I'm glad that he said they're looking at that. That's the thing that must happen. And that's one of the things that Yemi did talk about earlier. Let people take action. The diaspora's voting will not happen if we just talk about it. It will happen when we put our effort together and keep working on it and don't give up. We heard what Yemi said. This bill, people have been working on it. Was it Yemi that said our TT since 2007 after the Uwais, what's that in the Uwais report? And so it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, it's a long time, and we all have to continue to put in the time and the work. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined in here, putting in the time and the work and the effort to be part of this. Remember that it is impossible until it is done. We were once told that a new act cannot be possible this year or this month. Here it is. We have a new electoral act. So it's also possible for us to be able to get credible candidates with competence, character, and capacity into office, for them to give us good governance, accountability, and transparency, and be able to secure lives and properties of every citizen, and give us the development and the good things of life that we want, and give us a nation that we all can be proud of. That's the goal, and we can get there if we continue to work there. So thank you so much for joining Citizen Spaces. And remember, 145 PVC, we have our work to do. Thank you so much.